How's it guys? Reva here. No, this is not a bad case of deja vu. So for the people who've been following my channel for the past couple of weeks will know we did a similar video like this a few weeks ago comparing the XM4 and the M4A1. And in that video we came to the conclusion that the XM4 outclassed the M4A1 when it came to close and long range engagements. But boy oh boy, the things change. The release of Warzone Season 4 Reloaded and the massive amount of nerfs that came with it really shook the meta up. Both the M4A1 and the XM4 had some balance changes, so it's only fair that we put this gun through the paces again and see if it's a case of the more things change, the more it stays the same. Is this more a comeback kid story for the M4A1? Just before we get in depth and technical, if you guys enjoy this type of content and want to stay up to date with everything Warzone including stats and gameplay, hit that subscribe button, leave a like so this video can reach more people, and let's go. Let's start off by taking a look at the new base stats of each weapon. The XM4 has higher damage per bullet in the first and second damage ranges, but falls behind the M4A1 when it comes to firing rate and damage range drop off. And damage range drop off will play a big deciding factor between these two weapons, as we'll see soon. Next, let's take a look at the time to kill of each weapon. And with the recent damage value changes of both weapons, this couldn't be a closer time to kill chart. When it comes to chest and stomach shots, the XM4 kills 1 millisecond faster than the M4A1 up close, and exactly the same after the first damage range drop off. But the XM4 does have a little trick up its sleeve, and that's with the headshot damage, resulting in a faster headshot time to kill. Even though the chest and stomach time to kill of both weapons are very similar, if you manage to factor in a few headshots with the XM4, you will end up with a lower time to kill overall than the M4A1. Even though it will be very minor, but the potential is there. Let's jump into the class setups I recommend for each of these weapons, starting off with the XM4. For the muzzle, we can go with the agency suppressor, gives us a boost to bullet velocity and effective damage range. For the barrel, we go with the task force barrel, gives us another boost to bullet velocity and effective damage range and assists us with recoil control. Next is the optic, Axial Arms 3X. Best optic for medium and long range engagements, in my opinion. For ammunition, we went with the standard 60 round mag, not the fast mag. And lastly I went with the Field Agent foregrip, provides vertical and horizontal recoil control. So with this build, we try to get the bullet velocity as high as possible while also pushing out the effective damage range. Let's check out the M4A1, starting off with the monolithic suppressor. Sound suppression and the damage range increase. For the barrel, I went with the M16 Grenadier, it gives us a further damage range increase and bullet velocity increase. For the optic, I went with the VLK 3 times. Moving over to ammo, 60 round mag, matches the XM4, and lastly we went for the Commando foregrip, provides recoil stabilization and aiming stability. If you guys have any different recommended builds for both these weapons, let me know in the comments below. I'm always open to test out new things in Warzone. So with these builds we end up with a higher bullet velocity on the M4A1 and also a further damage range drop off of 44.66 meters. If most of your gunfights take place between 32 and 44 meters, the M4A1 will have a faster TTK than the XM4. After 44.66 meters, the TTK of both weapons is back to being very similar, unless you manage to pull off headshots with the XM4. And just another few small points to note is that the ADS time and movement speed is better on the XM4, but the reload time is better on the M4A1. And with this meta builds we get a total recoil reduction of 67% on the M4A1 and only 43% on the XM4. But how does that translate into Warzone? Well, let's do a test. Starting off with the XM4. This is me just shooting, not trying to control the recoil. As we can see with the XM4, the recoil pulls slightly to the right. Let's check the M4A1. The M4A1 follows a similar pattern, just pulling on a little bit more to the right, resulting in less vertical recoil, but more horizontal recoil. And that's very interesting because in our previous video we saw the XM4 had a lot less recoil than the M4A1. So the recent nerfs to the XM4's recoil is really coming into play here. And that brings us to our conclusion. So to summarize, the XM4 has faster headshot TTK, faster movement and ADS time, slightly worse recoil and a slower reload time. The M4A1 has a faster TTK between 32 and 44 meters and has a faster bullet velocity, making it easier to track targets at a distance. So with all that said, for the first time in my testings we have a tie, with both weapons having enough pros and cons to level things out. And at the end of the day, it's a good thing for everybody who plays Warzone. And I really hope it's a trend that will continue, because it gives us the opportunity to experiment with different Warzone loadouts without feeling that we are at a disadvantage. And if you guys want to, I can highly recommend you check out my previous video on the XM4 and M4A1 just to see how much things have changed. And I'm excited to see how they will implement further changes in Warzone Season 5. So if you guys have any other comparisons you want me to do, drop it in the comments below. And thanks for checking out this video. I hope you guys learned something new. Remember, stay safe, stay gaming. I'll check you guys in the next one.